3 process servers went to the facility that Puka Nacua was attending in Malibu and attempted to serve him officially as part of the process in the lawsuit.
There are people around Puka Nacua who care about him, who believe he's a good person, just think he sometimes might get himself into some situations that aren't great for him.
One week, people were talking about Puka Nacua as one of the brightest young stars the NFL had seen in years. The next week, his name started appearing in lawsuit headlines instead of football highlights. A player who had built his reputation with record-breaking performances and a humble personality was suddenly facing serious allegations in a civil lawsuit. The biggest question is not whether the headlines are shocking, they clearly are.
Guys, we've got some Puka Nacua news. Of course, we broke the story a couple of weeks ago about Puka was accused of making an anti-Semitic remark and then biting a woman on New Year's Eve as they were all celebrating. Well, we know that the woman and Puka have been going back and forth. Puka then chose to go to a holistic rehabilitation center, right, Lucas? It wasn't necessarily for any sort of addiction, but just to get everything right heading into the season.
Long before any lawsuit appeared, Puka Nacua's story looked like one of the best success stories in recent NFL history. Coming out of college, he was respected for his toughness and production, but very few experts expected him to become one of the league's biggest rookie sensations so quickly. Selected in the 5th round of the 2023 NFL Draft by the Los Angeles Rams, he entered the league without the spotlight that follows most first-round stars. Instead of expecting instant fame, he earned every opportunity through practice, consistency, and trust from his coaching staff.
On Monday, things sounded great from Sean McVay based on what the offseason program is looking like with the Rams. He actually had a rave review of Puka with the team.
Sean, we saw Puka yesterday at the first day of OTAs. Curious what his participation will be during the offseason program.
He'll be a full participant. Great to be able to see him. Looks great. He's doing really well.
What kind of conversations have you had with him about maybe some of the off-the-field incidents and getting ready for next season?
I'll keep those between us, but he and I have a great relationship and feel really good about kind of the direction that we're going.
Then came the event that completely changed the public conversation. According to the plaintiff's civil complaint, the timeline begins on New Year's Eve during what was described as a dinner and later a group celebration. The lawsuit claims that after the gathering continued, members of the group eventually traveled together inside a van. It is during this part of the evening that the plaintiff says the encounter turned into something far more serious. These claims remain allegations presented in the lawsuit, and they have not been proven in court. That is exactly where this story becomes much more complicated than a typical sports headline. On one side is a detailed civil complaint describing what the plaintiff says happened during that night. On the other side is a defense team preparing to challenge those allegations point by point. Until evidence is examined and the legal process moves forward, neither headlines nor public opinion can replace what actually happens inside a courtroom. As the lawsuit became public, people quickly formed opinions. But inside a courtroom, the order of events matters far more than online reactions. According to the plaintiff's civil complaint, the events of New Year's Eve did not end with a simple group celebration. The lawsuit describes a sequence that allegedly continued after dinner and during transportation with other people present. According to the plaintiff, it was during that period that the situation allegedly became physical. The complaint claims that Puka Nacua bit the plaintiff on the arm, causing injuries that later required medical attention. It also alleges that offensive comments were made during the same encounter. These are allegations presented by the plaintiff in a civil lawsuit, and at this stage, they have not been proven in court. The complaint goes further by claiming that the injuries were not only physical, but also emotional. According to the plaintiff, photographs, medical documentation, and other supporting material exist to support those claims. Whether those materials ultimately prove the allegations is a separate legal question, because filing evidence and successfully proving a claim are two different things. That distinction is one reason legal cases often take months, and sometimes years, before reaching any final outcome. While the public focused mainly on the allegations themselves, another important development happened quietly in the background. The lawsuit had to move through the legal process before either side could officially begin responding inside court. That meant the first challenge was not proving the claims, it was making sure the legal paperwork was properly delivered.
Well, Puka's out. He was actually at the Rams' involuntary practice here this week, and I think the team very excited to have him back, Lucas. He is in the middle of a lawsuit, though, and he was actually served at the rehab place.
Right, and I believe this was probably based on our coverage that was about 6 days prior.
Sorry, Puka.
If you remember, on April 1st, we reported that Puka had entered the facility in the middle of March to just get better with himself and to work on some things. But a few days later, 3 process servers went to the facility that Puka Nacua was attending in Malibu and attempted to serve him officially as part of the process in the lawsuit.
Right,
and
just the way it goes.
The first actually went down on April 6th. The person who went to serve him said they were shut down immediately because there was an administrator who said, "You are not going to be serving Puka Nacua here." Said, "This is against our HIPAA restrictions. I can't even tell you if he is here or not."
The service process may sound like a technical detail, but legally, it is a major step. A civil lawsuit cannot properly move forward until the defendant has been officially served according to court procedures. Reports indicate that several attempts were made while Puka was staying at a rehabilitation facility in Malibu. Those attempts became part of the public record and attracted almost as much attention as the lawsuit itself because they showed how the legal process was unfolding behind the scenes. Eventually, according to the reported court documents, the service issue was resolved, allowing the lawsuit to officially continue legal positions through attorneys rather than through headlines. That is where the story took another sharp turn, because the defense did not simply deny the allegations, it challenged the entire version of events described by the plaintiff.
Fast forward 24 hours, another person went and they were just immediately told, "Get off the premises. This is not happening here." But then on the third day, they went and there was a nurse identified as Jane Doe in the documents who accepted the forms. And that is considered like a substitute serve in this sense. But either way, in the fact or in the eyes of the law, this is being served for Puka Nacua. So now they kickstart the process of facing this head on.
It's what has to happen in a lawsuit, so now they can now move on to the next step. Obviously, Puka has said that he didn't do anything wrong.
From the defense perspective, the lawsuit tells only one side of the story. Puka Nacua's legal team has denied the allegations and argues that the plaintiff's version does not accurately describe what happened that night. According to statements made by the defense, any physical interaction that occurred was harmless. Disputes that the events described in the lawsuit amount to the misconduct alleged by the plaintiff. The defense has even discussed the possibility of filing a defamation claim. If that happens, the legal battle could expand beyond the original lawsuit, creating a situation where both sides accuse each other of causing reputational damage. Whether such a filing ultimately happens remains uncertain. Chosen to respond, instead of quietly settling the matter. This is the stage where many people misunderstand how civil lawsuits actually work. Headlines may create public opinion, but judges and juries focus on evidence. They examine witness testimony, medical records, photographs, text messages, phone records, surveillance footage if available, and whether every piece of evidence matches the timeline presented by both sides. A single inconsistency does not automatically decide a case, but multiple consistent pieces of evidence often become much more persuasive than public speculation. Right now, neither headlines nor social media discussions can answer the biggest question. Everything depends on what both sides can actually prove. The lawsuit could move in one direction. If the defense successfully challenges that evidence or presents stronger contradictory proof, the case could look completely different. Even if a lawsuit is still moving through court, that does not automatically mean the NFL. Companies usually invest in athletes because of both performance and public reputation. When legal headlines begin appearing regularly, some sponsors choose to wait until more facts become available before expanding partnerships. Others continue.
Feel really good about kind of the direction that we're going.
Yeah, I will say this, and I know this for a fact, that there are people around Puka Nacua who care about him, who believe he's a good person, who just think he sometimes might get himself into some situations that aren't great for him. But at his core, they say, and they're adamant about it, that he is not a bad dude. Obviously, we know he is a great, great football player. The Rams have a lot of talent. They made this lost in the NFC Championship game last year, could have won the Super Bowl. I think there are a lot of hopes for this season. And obviously, Sean McVay goes out of his way to make it clear that he is on good terms with Puka Nacua. They want him on that football team. He's going to be a part of that football team, and he's going to have a huge year. Let's be.
That plaintiff's claims. That outcome would significantly change the public conversation. although questions from some fans might still remain. The second possibility is a settlement. Civil lawsuits. A settlement does not automatically prove guilt or innocence because parties settle cases for many different legal and financial reasons. Sometimes both sides simply decide that avoiding a lengthy court battle from the public could remain unanswered, because settlements often include confidential terms. The third possibility is that the case continues through the full court process until a judge or jury, medical records, photographs, messages, and every other available piece of evidence could become central to the final decision. That would likely be the longest path, but it would also provide the most detailed legal examination of both sides' claims. That is why this story has become much bigger than one lawsuit. It has become a test of how quickly public opinion forms, how carefully evidence is examined, and how an NFL superstar's future can change before a courtroom reaches its final decision. At this moment, only one thing is certain: this case is no longer just about one night. It has become one of the biggest challenges of Puka Nacua's career, and the final answer will come from evidence, not headlines. If you found this breakdown balanced and useful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more deep NFL investigations, and share your thoughts in the comments. Based only on the verified facts available today, where do you think this case goes from here?